What is happening to the Golden State Warriors? As you all know, the Warriors have lost their last 3 games in a row. That gives them a record of 6-5 and now drops them all the way to 6th place in the Western Conference. In today's video, we're going to be going through the 5 things that the Warriors must improve on if they want to continue to win games and help them win another NBA championship this season. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is that the Golden State Warriors need to become a better all-around scoring team. Now, as you all know, Stephen Curry is a fantastic scorer and he is putting up such great numbers over the last couple of games. But when it comes to the rest of the team, they haven't been able to hold their own, as the rest of the team have actually not been able to score above 20 points besides Stephen Curry. And this is actually a very big problem. I definitely do believe that Stephen Curry has the right pieces around him in Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Dario Saric to really give them around 15 to 20 points per game, but it does seem that they are in a little bit of a rut. And it's not that they're not taking the shots, it's that they're not hitting it very effectively. If we look at Golden State Warriors as a whole team, when it comes to their 3-point percentage, although they do rank 7th in 3-point attempts, they rank 17th in 3-point percentages, which is a very big problem. They rank in that bottom half, and when we even look at 2-point percentages, they rank 19th out of all 30 NBA teams. So although they take a high volume of shots, they do rank in the bottom half when it comes to efficiency and scoring. And if we even look at free throws, guys, they also rank 15th in free throw percentage. So definitely they are getting the right opportunities, but it does seem that a lot of the players are not able to convert, whether it's Wiggins, Thompson, Chris Paul, Kuminga, it does not really matter. The Golden State Warriors as a whole definitely needs to score a lot better, but also just score at a much efficient rate. When it comes to the Golden State Warriors, they have been shooting great shots, but it does not seem to be falling very well unless it is someone like Stephen Curry scoring. And this is definitely taking a huge effect on the times that they do lose. If you look at the times that they did lose against these teams such as the Denver Nuggets, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Timberwolves to be the most recent ones, we actually see that each and every single team that they did play actually had a better shooting percentage than them. And I do believe that does play a huge facet when it comes to not only the volume of shots, but the efficiency that they shoot them at. If we look at the most recent game against the Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors shot 38% from the field, while the Timberwolves shot 52.4%. So you see a huge difference and discrepancy in these two, and I definitely do believe that is paying a huge effect on what the Warriors are trying to achieve. The second is that the Golden State Warriors continue to struggle in the rebounding sector. Now, as you all know, I have said this time and time again during the offseason, but the Golden State Warriors aren't very a tall team. They do have great pieces around them like Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, and Dario Saric, but since they overall aren't really the tallest team, it does leave a huge gap, especially against teams that are much more bigger, such as the Timberwolves and Cavaliers, who they did lose to quite a big margin. And this definitely plays a huge effect when it comes to what the Warriors are trying to do. They tend to run a lot of small ball, but it does not seem to be working in their favor. When it comes to this, yes, they do get quite a few rebounds. They actually do rank 6th in total rebounds, but they do allow quite a lot of rebounds, as well as they do rank 16th in opponent rebounds. And because of that, it does make them a poor defending team, especially when it comes to that rebounding section. So it's not really them having problems, getting rebounds. It's more allowing the other team to get second chance buckets, and that is definitely a huge problem. If you look at the Warriors, they actually rank 23rd in opponents in offensive rebounds, which means that they give a lot of second chance opportunities, which is definitely a big part on why the Golden State Warriors end up losing close games due to those extra 2 to 4 points of those second chance buckets. Now, although the Warriors do have a great team and they do have a great rebounder in Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, when they go up against taller teams such as the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have players like Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, who are considered twin towers, or even the Timberwolves, who do have Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns as some of their main big men, it really does make it a struggle, especially when Steve Kerr tends to run small ball. It does make it a very big problem, and this will continue on if they continue to not really figure out how to actually go about this, and maybe not do the small ball so much, or try to find a way to add an additional big player in order to that lineup. So it'll definitely pay huge dividends if they can figure this out, but rebounding is definitely something that they need to get solved ASAP. The third is that Andrew Wiggins needs to step up and start playing like the Andrew Wiggins we know and love. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Andrew Wiggins still definitely has it in him, but Wiggins has definitely been struggling all season long, and especially over the last 5 games, he hasn't been putting up such great numbers. He's averaging around 4 rebounds over the last 5 games, and also only averaging 6 points. So this is something that is a big problem. I definitely do believe that Wiggins is still a a great player who can give you 15 to 20 points per game, but lately he hasn't been able to find his strides. And I definitely do believe this could take into account things such as, the game plan towards versing these teams. Maybe Steve Kerr has a different lineup for each and every single game that they play, but I do believe Wiggins does get the right opportunities to score, but he does seem to not just be not shooting effectively, but he doesn't seem to be hitting him very, very consistently. And this is something that the Warriors definitely need from someone like Andrew Wiggins. Now, Klay Thompson, he's been doing a great job, doing the scoring that he can, but I do have to say that Klay Thompson is a knockdown shooter. They definitely still need that player in Andrew Wiggins that's able to drive, cut, dish, do all these different things. And I think Wiggins was definitely that guy, which is one of the reasons why he was actually second in MVP voting when it came to the finals 2 seasons ago. So I definitely do believe that the Warriors still have a great player in Andrew Wiggins, but Andrew Wiggins definitely needs to step up and start playing his role. He's doing a fantastic job on defense, but guys, in today's NBA, offense definitely does matter. It's such a fast-paced game, and it is definitely a high-scoring game nowadays, and because of that, Wiggins needs to continue to provide. As if we look at the starting 5 with Klay, Wiggins, Looney, Green, and Curry, Green isn't really too much of a scorer, and so isn't Looney. Klay Thompson's more of a catch and shoot, so he can definitely give you 15 to 20. But if there's anyone else in that starting 5 that can definitely get the ball and give you a bucket, Wiggins can definitely be that guy if he continues to step up. It can't be all Steph Curry, and although Steph Curry is putting up such big MVP numbers, he definitely needs help, as a lot of the attention is already on Steph, and he needs someone who he can trust that could give them a bucket in the post or even on the wing. So Wiggins can definitely still be that guy. I do believe that, but he definitely needs to start acting now. The fourth is that the Golden State Warriors need to stop running small ball so often. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Steve Kerr is a fantastic coach. He is a very, very successful coach in his career, but I do believe small ball can work at some times. But in today's NBA, guys, there are a couple of teams you definitely can't run it against, and I think over the last 2 games against Timberwolves and Cavaliers, those were definitely those examples. I definitely do believe that Steve Kerr definitely has a big plan in mind, but when it comes to the most recent game against the Timberwolves, you definitely saw all game why Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns were able to take advantage of the Golden State Warriors. Now, they may not have gotten the scoring, but Karl Anthony Towns got 14 rebounds in that game, and also Rudy Gobert was able to get 10 rebounds. So that was honestly huge for the Golden State Warriors when it came to, them trying to win that game. It definitely took a huge hit on them that Gobert and Towns were definitely getting them on the boards. If we look at the game against Cleveland, having someone like Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, although they only did get 10 rebounds in total, I do believe it did really play a huge effect as they are bigger guys. And if Golden State continues to run small ball, especially someone like Gary Payton II out there running that small forward position, it does make it very, very hard to get boards or even to get you an easy bucket. I think sometimes, guys, height is might, and I do believe in these 2 matchups, you definitely could use that. And if we even look at the game that they played against the Denver Nuggets, where Aaron Gordon was able to get 11 rebounds, MPJ, who's not even a big rebounder, was able to get 8 rebounds, and Nikola Jokic with 13. So it definitely does add up all at the end. I do believe little things like this can definitely get these players going, which is one of the reasons why I think they lost that. But I do believe they can still make those adjustments and make those changes. The small ball is still a very, very smart lineup, but I do believe against bigger teams that can definitely bully ball and body you in the paint, that's when it becomes a huge problem. And that's why I think Nikola Jokic in that matchup against Denver and the Golden State Warriors, he was able to drop 35 points pretty easily. The fifth is that the Golden State Warriors allowed too many free throws to the opposing team. Now, as you all know, this may be something that is super underrated, but free throws can definitely make or break a game. Now, when it comes to a close game, definitely free throws, it comes down to it, and the Golden State Warriors actually ranked 28th in opposing free throws, which means they allowed the second most free throws out of all 30 NBA teams, which I think is a big problem. If we look at the most recent game, the Timberwolves, they did actually end up getting blown out, but if we look at another close game, such as another game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, this is where you really see a huge discrepancy. The Golden State Warriors took 30 free throws in that game, but the Cleveland Cavaliers took 43 free throws during that game. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 43 free throws. Now, when it comes to this as well, if we look at the difference, Golden State Warriors made 23 of them, and the Cavaliers made 33. Now, the Warriors actually ended up losing that game 118 to 110, which means if they did prevent, 10 of those free throws, they would have actually won the game. And that is where it becomes a big issue. Teams such as Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a pretty good free throw shooting team, or even other teams like Timberwolves and another like the Nuggets, who they did end up losing to, it definitely came down to free throws at the end of the day when it came to, you know, those close games. And I think that is going to pay a huge place when it comes to the overall game as playoffs and, you know, even finals get closer and closer. I think it's something that they definitely need to work on. I think one of the big issues, like we mentioned before, is definitely the height problem. Obviously, the Warriors are very, very small, and when they do go up against bigger players, they tend to somewhat bail out at times, especially if they do get a pretty easy look. And that's what we noticed, especially with the game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The two players to actually shoot the most free throws is none other than Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, who are the two biggest guys out there on the floor. And I think that is one of the reasons why I think it is something they definitely need to work on, and something that they can definitely improve if they decide to change their lineups or even, you know, fix up their defense just a little bit.